Good afternoon, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to this webinar in the series of the AT3 Center COVID-19 webinars. May is National Mental Health Awareness Month to bring awareness to the estimated 1 in 5 Americans, adults living with mental health issues. And of course, even for those who haven't been diagnosed, there's a lot of added stress, disruption, and isolation brought on by the coronavirus pandemic. It's really been overwhelming for a lot of people, making this year's Mental Health Awareness Month particularly meaningful. And we're really happy to have, for our webinar today, Maria Kelly here to talk about managing social isolation, depression, and anxiety through the use of assistive technology tools. I do want to remind everybody of a few resources. The AT3 Center website at at3center.net has a section on COVID-19 pandemic resources related to persons with disabilities, and that site includes recordings of all of these COVID webinars, including the one we're going to listen to today. It includes a lot of different resources on telehealth, on education, civil rights, sanitization of devices, so just a wide variety of different resources. And then there's also quite a few resources on the AT3 Center Facebook page. So I would recommend everybody liking the Facebook page. And then there's also the AT3 Center News and Tips blog, which is at at3centerblog.com. So make sure you check out all of those resources. And so with that, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Maria to begin the webinar. Go ahead, Maria.
Great, thank you. You can hear me okay?
Can hear you great.
Oh, super. Thank you everybody for attending. My name is Maria Kelly. I'm one of the AT specialists with the Washington Assistive Technology Act program here in Seattle. We're housed out of the University of Washington. I am grateful for the opportunity to share this information with you today. We have, in our state, we've been doing a number of years of training with the Division of Vocational Rehab, specifically to their interest in learning more about mental health assistive technology for the clients that they serve. So some of this information is taken from that training that we provide them, with some new information that I was able to acquire during my research for doing this particular webinar. Just a quick disclaimer, my background is in occupational therapy. I am not a mental health professional, and many of the tools today that I'll be sharing with you, in particular the ones that are applications, are intended to be self-management tools and intended to collect or track information from the end user so that they can share that information with their healthcare or mental health providers. So I just want to toss that out there. My hope today is for you to get some tools for your toolbox, be able to identify some assistive technology tools and devices that can help individuals, particularly during this COVID-19 outbreak with social isolation, as well as some assistive technology solutions to help with managing anxiety and depression. Just some few slides pertaining to some statistics. Marty shared a little bit about some of the stressors that we're under with this pandemic. But prior to COVID-19, this screenshot here is just giving us an idea of the aging population that we work with and that we serve. 43% of seniors have, prior to the pandemic, were already feeling lonely on a regular basis. And there's significant research that supports that individuals who are experiencing loneliness and feeling of isolation are at more risk for various issues of diseases. I provided most of these slides. If I provided a source, I provided a link for you that you can access at a later date. But as I mentioned just a minute ago, there is research that supports that social isolation and feeling of loneliness can contribute significantly to mental and physical health issues, such as depression, cardiovascular changes, and cognitive changes as well. I don't want to bore you all with statistics, but in the United States, there's over 17 million adults who are reporting issues related to mood disorders, particularly depression, and it impacts all ages. So it's not specific to one age or ethnic background. And for anxiety disorders are actually one of the most common mental health concerns that are reported in the United States. Again, 40 million adults that are reporting anxiety disorders, and it also impacts children. There has been some research that is showing that there's an increase in anxiety related issues with our younger kids. And that information is for another good resource is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. As we've been in our state, as we've been doing some of this training for mental health and AT, when we first started doing it, we didn't find a lot of research and practice guidelines on how AT could be utilized for individuals who are experiencing some mental health challenges. But there was a lot of information pertaining to, obviously, to cognitive disabilities and other disability categories that assistive technology can be extremely helpful. But again, not too much what we were finding early on in regards to mental health. Now, in current time, as I've been doing more and more research, there's been more interest in the use of assistive technology tools to provide support for people who are experiencing some sort of mental health crisis. And we can now use some of those strategies that we use for individuals who have cognitive related disabilities, because oftentimes individuals who are having mental health issues, there are some cross application in regards to task management, memory loss, that they're also experiencing, similar to those clients that we're working with cognitive disabilities. So we're using what we know for that category of disability and crossing it over to individuals that we're working with mental health challenges. It is also important to remember that when we're looking at these tools that I'll be sharing with you today, that the AT is really intended to be a supplement to the treatment. It's not going to be successful if we're trying to deploy or implement these solutions when somebody isn't mentally stable, or they're not under, they're still trying to manage their medications to achieve some sort of stability with their mental health. So it's not, again, to replace the use of appropriate mental health counseling. So keep that in mind as I go through the tools today. Many of the applications that I'm going to be talking about today and some of the devices are utilizing the concepts of what we refer to as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and mindfulness or meditation. So cognitive behavioral therapy approach is designed or a method that uses the therapy approaches to help the individual change distorted or unhelpful behaviors that they're kind of stuck in. With mindfulness, that's basically the practice of trying to be aware of our thoughts and feelings and emotions in present and current time. So there's a new method, fairly new method called mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, so MBCT, and that's the marriage between mindfulness and meditation and cognitive behavioral therapy. So a lot of the applications today that I'll be showcasing actually utilize this approach to manage anxiety and depression. So there's a number of mental health technologies that are currently on the market, and they fall under these categories of soothers and comforters, distractors for people who are experiencing some agitation, reminders and schedulers for memory support, for safety for individuals who might be at risk for self-harm, and mood trackers. For the purpose of the webinar today, I'll be focusing mostly on technology for anxiety and mood trackers, and then sharing with you some resources and some solutions for minimizing social isolation. So the first area is calming. There are some wearable technology that's out there. This is called the Spire, and it's a wearable device, and it works with a companion app. It works across platforms of iOS and Android, and it measures your breath. It clips onto the waistband of your slacks, and it measures your breathing by the expansion and contraction of your torso, and that's why it's important to wear it at the location that it's shown there in the picture. It's really what they call kind of like a Fitbit for the mind. Depending on how your breathing patterns are, it's going to give you recommendations and suggestions on breathing and meditation tasks or skills that you can improve upon your relaxation and state of mind. So we actually have had this for, I think, about a year or two in our lending library, and had some success with clients who actually borrowed it. Sometimes the cost of it, as you can see, can be cost prohibitive. So, but again, that is something that is available and time tested. The other one is called the Muse brain sensing device. It's a EEG headband that measures, so it's kind of like a biofeedback, whether your mind is calm or active. And depending on what it's picking up, when you're wearing it, if it senses that you are not in a calm state, you're going to hear really loud weather sounds like thunder, rain pouring. And when you get into a more calm state, relaxed state, that sound actually quiets down. So again, we've had some success in our when people have borrowed this from us and gotten some feedback, good feedback, that the tool has actually been helpful for them. There's also clothing to help with calming down the sensory system. This is a company called CommWear, and they have compression clothing for both youth and adults, and that's the range of the cost for the product. You can go directly on their website. Actually, I went a couple of days ago. They actually have a lot more options of different types of shirts that are available. They even have socks and some other clothing in their line right now. In my research for today's webinar, I also came across that there's some information and research that supports that coloring is coming back, and they're finding that it can be a helpful tool for creating mindfulness for adults. And so when did coloring books become mindful? That's actually a title of a book, and you can Google that or check it out on Amazon. But they're finding that being able to do this sort of activity can help get the person into a more calm state and more present in their current situation. Transitioning over to apps for mood and emotion management. Before I jump into some of the ones that I've selected for their webinar today, I do want to share this resource through the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. On their website, they have a mental health app guide. And as you see here on the right-hand side, they rate it based on ease of use, effectiveness, whether or not it can be personalized, whether or not it can provide, if the application can provide is interactive and provide feedback, and also whether or not there's research-based evidence to provide how efficient and effective it is. So this is I found this to be a very helpful tool because, as you know, there's thousands of applications that come out both on Google Play and Apple Store that can be overwhelming and trying to make a decision on what apps are the most stable, or the ones that actually perform and provide the features that they're actually advertising. So a good resource for all of us. And the other one I came across is CyberGuide. CyberGuide is a nonprofit project or organization that has a number of features within on their website, but one of the features that is appropriate for this particular topic is that they review applications based on the application's credibility, the user experience, and whether or not there's privacy practices that they've installed into the application. It's funded by another nonprofit organization called OneMind, which is also I found to be a really helpful website, and want to dive in a little bit more on what that particular organization has to offer for brain health. So OneMind focuses specifically on research specifically for brain health. So I provided those links as well. What CyberGuide does is they research the application based on the reviews of the applications, whether that's on iTunes or Google Play. They're looking also on what apps are trending on social media and various news outlets. They're also reviewing content based on the app developers and through other networks. So it's pretty full, a wide range of how they're reviewing their apps in addition to the research papers that they provide. So this is a screenshot of what you would see if you do go to CyberGuide. This particular app is called Wisie. So Wisie is a smartphone app that offers, that uses a smart bot. So it's AI, artificial intelligence, that you as a person who might be feeling some stress, anxiety, you could actually launch Wisie and have a conversation with the AI smart bot. It'll pop up a text and say, how are you feeling? And you'll answer it. You can say that you're feeling stressed, and it'll follow up with another text generated message. It's like, well, what's making you feel stressed? And so you have this kind of interaction with this AI chat box or smart bot. And so that's the kind of information that you would get, that you see here on CyberGuide. It also will tell you what platforms it's available, the credibility score, the user experience. It will give you scores there, and whether or not there is transparency. What they're looking at is whether or not your information that you're entering into the application is protected with privacy settings. So a little bit more about Wisie. With the whole pandemic going on, just this morning, I found just changes in some of the applications, and that a lot of some of the applications that I'm even talking about today that did have costs to them for subscription fees have changed it to provide free service. So Wisie is one of them. So Wisie, the premium cost for a subscription for the year was $100. But as of today, the AI chat and the tool packs that come with the application that helps with managing anxiety and social isolation is now free during the pandemic. So when I went to their website, that's what they had on their homepage, and it also did not, at this current time, didn't say when it was going to end. So, so if you have clients who could benefit from that, they can jump on that offer to get it downloaded for free. The other app that provides support for mental health that I'm showcasing is called Headspace. It's iOS and Android. There is a free version, but again, as of today, May 14th through June 30th, as you see here, they're going to allow individuals to download it for free. There's a free version for premium for 1 year, and I provided a link here, and it's for people who are unemployed, and it's for those individuals. They can go to that to their website, and they can subscribe to the Headspace app. So this app provides meditation and mindfulness activities. It also has section where it's going to provide some sleep support for those individuals who have a hard time going to sleep at night. I actually have this particular app on my phone. I actually used it a few minutes before this webinar. It's called Centered. It's free, but it's only available on for the iPhone. This was developed by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. The University of Massachusetts collaborated with them. And this is a pretty, doesn't have a lot of features. It's really designed to provide you with some meditation and mindfulness sessions that can kind of get you back to feeling grounded. I, prior to the webinar today, just used a mini meditation. It was a 4-minute exercise to kind of get me refocused and work on my breathing. So there's a couple of sections where there's self-guided meditation. You can actually launch a mindful walk session. So when you're walking, again, the intent of it is to get you grounded and being present in your current space. It also, what I like about it too, it integrates with my Apple Health, which I use all the time. And if you let it pair or sync in with your calendar, it will suggest times for you to meditate based on your availability in your calendar. The other one is Mindshift, and this is based on the cognitive behavioral therapy model. This is a free application across iOS and Android. It has a number of interactive tasks and skills that can improve the person's strategies to kind of rethink their behavior and change their behavior. Their tools are really designed, as you can see there, to manage. They can check in and manage and answer questions to manage their anxiety, to adjust their thinking. There's an exercise for that as well, and some guided meditation section. And you'll see that there's kind of this reoccurring theme within these applications, that a lot of them will have some section where it's going to ask the end user how they're currently feeling, how do they feel after this particular exercise, or how do they feel at the conclusion of a meditation session.
Maria, this is
Yes?
Amy. We did have a question, if you know whether Wisie is accessible for people who are blind or who have low vision.
I have not tested that. I've tested a couple, like the one that I have on the screen right now. I can answer that question at a later date by launching it with VoiceOver, see if it's compatible. I didn't see it anywhere on there, and many of these do not list whether or not it's going to be accessible with VoiceOver or a screen reader. But if that person wants to contact me directly, I'm more than happy to answer it once I research it further. Okay. Mood Tools is not accessible with VoiceOver, because I did test it with that. This is completely free. It's a nonprofit organization that developed this particular application, and they gear it towards specifically for individuals who are experiencing symptoms of depression. This one has a questionnaire that the end user starts off by answering various questions. Based on those questions, it will provide them with suggestions of activities and or resources. There's a thought diary or journal that's built into the application. There's also videos that they can launch, as you can see here, different relaxation videos that they can launch directly within the app that will take them to YouTube stations that they can watch for additional support. The one that makes this unique compared to the other applications that I've talked about recently is that this actually has a section where the individual can set up what they call a safety plan. And here's a screenshot of that, for example. So the person can set up warning signs or triggers for themselves, some coping strategies to help them, and reasons to live. So it's really, and also a contact both for families and friends, and if it gets to the point where they need to contact their therapist, all of that information is within the application. Mood Kit is only available for iOS, and it is a $5 application. This is geared to provide mood improvement activities. What makes this unique, a unique feature of this particular application is that you can actually export your charts when you're entering this information either on a weekly or a weekly basis, or you can download the information that you've been charting for yourself over a 30-day span. The other thing, what makes this unique is that it has Face ID and additional security features to keep your information and your data secure. What's Up is a fully free application. You have access to all of its features at no additional cost for iOS and Android. This too is based on cognitive behavioral therapy concepts. It has a built-in journal. It has allows you to track your habits. You can create new habits if you're trying to work on creating new positive habits for yourself. They can enter it there and keep track of it. It has a number of games built into it, and the intention of the games are really designed to get you to refocus your attention away from unhelpful thinking that might be decreasing your self-esteem or increasing your level of anxiety and stress. The other thing that's unique to this particular application is that there is a forum built into it, so individuals can actually reach out to other users to get advice or information without leaving the application. This is called SAM. SAM's been around for a while, so I kept it in there. It's self-help for anxiety management. The interface of it is pretty easy to use. It's sliding scale that you see here on the right-hand side. They don't have to enter any numbers. It's asking them, how they're feeling in regards to their anxiety and tension. Based on the responses of the end user, SAM will give suggestions on what activities can help reduce their anxiety and stress. It does have the ability to access what they call social clouds for additional support from like social media, reaching out to individuals who might be experiencing similar situations as the end user. In this section, Uplift is the last one I'll be talking about for anxiety and calming applications. This one is called Uplift. This was actually developed by a startup company in Atlanta called Uplift Health. This is kind of expensive. Their first session is free, but for almost $15 a month for a quarterly subscription, so it kind of might be a little bit expensive for some individuals. But this is based on, they have platforms like 12 platforms that are what they call chatbot guided sessions. Each of the sessions are lasting a little bit under an hour, so for 45 minutes within this tool, what they call a toolkit. So this particular application actually has what they call a trigger plan, which was kind of unique compared to the other past applications I've talked about. So the person can identify what kind of situations might set off their level of anxiety or their frustration or their anger, gives them within these chatbot sessions, gives the trainer within that, gives them goal-oriented exercises to do to help with reframing their thoughts to help boost their moods. Okay, so let's transition to sleep. We all know the importance of sleep, that if we don't get enough sleep, it's a little bit more challenging for us to manage our emotions and our stress. So there's a number of dedicated white noise machines. I've highlighted a couple of here. The Lectrofan and the DreamEgg are two that are out on the market. And basically this allows the end user to just control, it sounds just like a fan. so you have a choice between a fan or white noise, and so it's very simplistic design. Based on the choices there, they can increase the volume or lower the volume. There's also a timer, so if they want to automatically have that particular device shut off, like after 30 minutes or 60 minutes, they can make those settings. There's also a number of noise canceling earbuds or sleep buds, as they refer them to, that are on the market. The one that we've vetted here at WATAP is the Bose noise mass sleep buds. The footprint or the profile are very small and slim. It fits very snugly in the ear, and really is efficient in canceling out a lot of the noise in the environment to help and aid with a more restful sleep. Fairly new on the market is this particular tool that you see here on this person's wrist. It's called a Dream On Sleep Aid. It's a wearable. The person can wear it on their wrist or on their ankle. This particular device was developed with a technique in mind called brainwave entertainment. So basically, brainwave entertainment is where you have an external stimulus, whether that's a sound or a light or vibration, synchronizes to the person's brainwave frequency to create a state of calmness. So this particular tool, whether it's worn on the person's wrist or the ankle, provides these tactile vibration pulses for 15 minutes, and it'll automatically shut off after a 15-minute interval. So the intent is that's kind of distracting the brain and getting it into a rhythm of a calm state. So if you want to Google brainwave entertainment, there's some interesting articles about how it kind of came about and some of the research behind it. I think many of us are aware of weighted blankets, so I don't want to spend too much time in there, but again, there is some both anecdotal and research-based information that's out there that provides us information that this can be advantageous for people who are experiencing anxiety and sleep issues due to the deep pressure that the blanket provides us. So I just provided on the right-hand side here some tips on being able to choose the correct weight for the end user. So you can look at that at your leisure. Philips Medical came out with a smart sleep light. This is a light that emulates a sunrise and a sunset. You can set it so that it also can, you can personalize the light intensity and the sounds from the device. This also will give you feedback on the room temperature and then the ambient noise that's in your bedroom, and gives suggestions so that you can make adjustments that are going to help you fall asleep a little and stay asleep throughout the night. There's two models that they have. The one that you can actually use with a companion app on your smartphone, costs over $220, and there's a standard model for $179 that does not connect to a smartphone app. The application Aura, this is specifically geared for sleep management. This one is artificially intelligent driven. It has ranges from 3 to 7 or 10-minute meditation sessions to help ease you into calmness and a relaxed state so that you can drift off to sleep. It also has some stories built into it to help with falling asleep, and also some various music tracks to help, again, for relaxation and mood control. The other one actually that I use is called, it's built into your iPhone or your iOS device. It's called Apple Bedtime. This actually lets you set an exact time for when you want to wake up. You can set it up for weekdays, a weekday schedule or a weekend schedule only. if you say you want to get a full 8 hours of sleep, you would set that accordingly within the app, and it'll give you a suggestion of what time you should be going to bed and your wake up time. So most of us or all of us are pretty much working from home, and I know that's been disruptive to our daily schedule, and it can be helpful to try to maintain a regular bedtime and wake up time just to help with our overall well-being. And this could be a helpful tool. The other application is called Comm, and this is only for iOS. For it being a free app, it has many features built into it, from breathing exercises to various relaxing music tracks, and meditation exercises as well. So I actually have this on my iPhone as well, and I like listening to the soothing music tracks that are available on it. It also, for those individuals who enjoy yoga, it has a section on that, as well as a variety of different types of stories that people can listen to if that's something that they enjoy listening to stories prior to going to sleep. TM Soft is the name of the software developer for this. Is called White Noise. This is both web-based iOS and Android platforms. This allows you to listen to various sounds to calm your mind and block out distractions. So the sounds are looped. You can set a timer for it to automatically shut off. So if you wanted to close at the end of an hour, you can do so. But these are just examples of the different types. This is only a small sample of all the different types of white noise and soundtracks that are available for this app, this free application. I'm not quite sure what brown noise is, but this gives you a little small smattering of that. For social isolation, I came across some good resources. I feel like there are good resources. I think we can't forget for the importance of caregivers who are homebound and have limited access to support outside of the home during COVID-19. One of the resources I came across is agingcare.com. This is actually an online community specifically for caregivers, which provides them some additional support and advice depending on their situation. The other one that I came across is wellspouse.org. This is a support group specifically for individuals who are taking care of their spouse who has medical issues or a disability. So the other one is called Stitch.net. This is an online community specifically for individuals over the age of 50. It is not just a dating app, even though there is a section there for online dating, but their organization is focused more so on companionship and the building of a community. There's a basic free membership, and their monthly paid membership is $5 a month, which gives the individual access to the online community and other events within the application. There's a really good, if you choose to explore this further, on their website, there's a lot of good video testimonials for individuals who have been extremely happy with this online community. The other option that can increase the person's feeling of being social and connected to their community is exploring the availability of learning a new skill. This is a website called Skillshare. It's an online learning community with over 19,000 types of classes available. There is a subscription fee, but the first month, if you're wanting to explore this further, is free. Otherwise, it's $15 a month, and you see at about $100 a year. So you can learn a new skill, or you can actually teach a class. So that can also be something helpful to those individuals who feel they have a skill set that is needed in the community, so they can actually submit an application to be a teacher on Skillshare. There's also increased interest in robotic support animals. The one you see on the left-hand side, Tombaugh, is still not available for purchase. If you're interested in that, you can go to their website, and it shows you just how the touch sensors on this particular robotic animal responds to voices, because it is voice activated. The one that is on the market right now is from a company, Joy for All Companion Pets. They have different types of cats. This one, most of their robotic animals retail for about $110. It's my understanding when I went to their website recently that there's a back order that they're experiencing as a result of COVID-19. So it has become much more popular. The other one that's still in beta and not currently available is called LEQ. So we all are pretty familiar with social network, such as using Facebook and voice-controlled personal assistants like Alexa. And the one that Facebook came out that I'm totally blanking on right now. But this one is a voice control assistant geared specifically for older adults. It allows a person to do messaging. You'll see that there's a camera on top of the tablet right here. But this is LEQ itself. In the videos, if you choose to go to their website later, you'll see that when the person is talking, this will rotate and respond to them based on and have a conversation with them. So I can tell it that I want it to search for a specific game or listen to music. So it's multi-featured. I can it'll also allow for photo sharing, provide some task support and setting up reminders. So that's something that there was no pricing available on their website yet, so it's something that we'll be monitoring here on our end at WATAP. And there's also popularity and interest in virtual games and entertainment during the stay-at-home order that all of us are experiencing. I know I myself have participated in House Party. And the other one that's similar to House Party is Bunch. So these are online chatting and virtual opportunities to be playing games with families, with our families and our friends. House Party is free across Chrome, Android, and iOS. Bunch, which is similar to House Party, where you can play online games with your friends and family, is only available for iOS and Android. The other one is Netflix Party. This is available for free only on Google Chrome. This allows you to watch the same movie or TV series. Like if I was watching it here in Seattle, I could be watching a movie with Amy out there in Pennsylvania at the same time. So it's another good option for those individuals who have a Netflix subscription. The other idea is to join an online book club. As you see here, there's lots of free memberships available. There's Action Book Club. Andrew Luck, who used to be a football quarterback for out there for the Colts. Emily Watson, those of you who are fans of Harry Potter, she's Hermione, has her own book club, and all of us are pretty familiar with Oprah and Reese Witherspoon's book club as well. If you go to goodreads.com, you can get a lot more information about some of the free resources and the book clubs and how to join any of these book clubs that I have listed here on the slide. For health and entertainment resources, there's a number. I belong to a health club, and when COVID-19 happened, they provided a lot of free online exercise resources to still continue to focus on health and wellness. The YMCA, the link that I provided you there, actually has a variety of health and fitness videos for across the age spectrum. One specifically designed for seniors is called Senior Exercise Online. which is not a very creative title, but it does provide free access to exercises geared towards the aging population. And the last one I have listed there is a YouTube station, but it's called HasFit YouTube. And this station offers exercises for a diverse group. So for seniors and individuals who might have some physical mobility challenges, and they cater to making those modifications in the exercises. There's also, obviously, my physician has moved to telemedicine for me to be able to access her in the event that I need to be seen by a physician. So telehealth is, I think, kind of here to, is just going to continue to grow even after COVID-19 and improving access to medical services for individuals who are unable to travel to the hospitals and clinics. I'm sure you're all very aware of that. The other thing that's taking off is online mental health therapy. So one of the ones that are getting good reviews is called BetterHelp. I like their slogan, "Don't ruin a good day thinking about a bad yesterday." But one of the advantages of doing this is a lot of these plans are subscription based. You can pay monthly. I don't think they have per session. I think most of them are monthly subscriptions, and it gives you an idea of how it works. So first of all, that you're going to create a, excuse me, ask questions of pertaining to your mental health, and based on those answers, they'll match you up with a therapist. The other popular one is called Talkspace. You might have seen an advertisement on the television with Michael Phelps. He's a spokesperson for this particular online mental health service. It works in a similar way with BetterHelp and how it does a free assessment and then it selects a therapist based on how you answer those questions. But what's nice about this particular one, as of when I went to the website today, they're having specific resources available as a result of COVID-19. So here, you see here, there's a free therapist-led Facebook support group now. They have a 16-day anxiety relief program to reduce and manage fear about COVID-19. There's special programs specifically for healthcare workers and first responders, and discounted subscriptions for everyone as a result of COVID-19. So that seems to be the trend right now, and again, it changes day to day. The other one that I actually have enjoyed and stumbled upon is being able, because you're stuck at home and can't travel, this link down here on the bottom of the slide, Arts and Culture with Google is a really good resource, not just for taking a virtual tour of some of our national parks, but also for other arts, and it gives you opportunities to look at museums and other resources related to movies and films. So I highly recommend checking out Arts and Culture within Google's platform. Here's an example of artsandculture.com with Google. You can visit and do a virtual tour of many of the museums. For example, the Getty, that's in California, the Van Gogh, that's in Amsterdam, the d'Orsay in Paris, and the Guggenheim in New York. So I know it doesn't replace travel in real life, but it can be a viable option in feeling like you're still kind of stimulating that part of your brain. Another good resource I stumbled on is called All Arts. This is for those individuals who have an interest in music and theater performances. You can actually access, it's completely free, access to short films, information about art, culture, and music. You can watch it on your television. There's information on their website on how to access it on your television. You can access it through an app on your smartphone or your tablet. You can use Roku and Amazon Fire to have multiple ways of accessing this free arts and arts programs and performances. For our clients who are older and who enjoy listening to stories, from the 30s through the 50s, there's this application called OTR Streamer. Old Time Radio is what OTR stands for. So when they download this application, they can actually access a bunch of radio shows from the 30s through the 50s and listen to them as many times as they want. And then you see the categories here on the right-hand side of the screenshot. The other one is there's a bunch of live cams that are out there, again, because we're stuck at home. We can't go to the aquarium or to the zoos. The Monterey Aquarium has a pretty active live cam of different areas in their aquarium, from the penguins to their sea otters, to the big live tanks where you can see, you know, the sharks and the different animals and creatures that are underwater. And the San Diego Zoo has a very active webcam as well that allows you to access a large area of the zoo virtually. And for virtual reality, I know many of us are familiar with this. This gives us experiences through the VR realm. The thing that I want to emphasize here is the two companies, MindVR and Rendeavor, are kind of the leaders in this industry and getting virtual reality to senior living communities. But MindVR recently started donating headsets to senior living communities, and on their website provides information on how to keep those headsets clean and reducing the spread of viruses when using the VR headset. Lastly, I know many of us are familiar with different types of e-textbook readers that are out there, but LibriVox is actually free. So it's similar to those of you who are familiar with Guggenheim as a free domain. LibriVox is a nonprofit public domain. It's completely ad-free. All the books that are read on their website are from volunteers that are reading the books and recording the books. What's really unique about this website is that you can actually listen to a book from different languages, and if you go to their website, you can see that it's not just a few languages. It's a number of different languages that the book can be read back to the end user. You can either listen to the book. If you're looking for something to do, you can actually volunteer to be a person who's going to read the book. And it's available across platforms, so they can actually read their books on the website itself, or they can download an app on iTunes or other formats that are available for them to read the e-text book. So I'm going to wrap up. So I'm going to this slide just has some resources available that you can refer to at a later date. I'm a big fan of NAMI, so the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. I've reposted OneMind and the CyberGuide links as well. So hopefully you found some helpful tools today, and I realize that, you know, in the current state of our world, we have moments of feeling fragile, and it seems to be part of the human experience right now. So I'm hoping that you all realize that some of these tools can be helpful, and I'm going to leave you with this Instagram post that I came across. It's okay to fall apart. Sometimes tacos fall apart and we still love them. So it's okay. It's going to be okay. And I hope you all stay well. And with that, I'm going to open it up to questions if you all have any.
Well, there were some questions. A key one was whether your slides will be available.
Yes, I will send them to you, Amy.
Okay, in that case, we will post it on the AT3 Emergency Preparedness page, along with the archive of the webinar. I did do my very best to get websites into the chat, but I may have missed a few. Didn't see any questions per se. Just a lot of kudos for the great information. We also had some very nice contributions from our audience of almost 200 people sharing some of the apps and strategies that they have used. So
Great.
that's kind of cool.
That is
So
very cool.
last chance for questions. Please type them into the chat. Okay, going once.